Today we're taking a look at Blackberry 10 OS as an option for digital minimalists. Let's get started. If you're new to the channel, my name is Jose, and here we talk about digital minimalism. So if that's something that interests you, make sure to subscribe. Again, we're taking a look at Blackberry 10 OS today. It is quite a good operating system for the basic needs, but not much more. So if you're looking to still have a different operating system than Android, iOS, and you're not ready to go to a dumb phone, this can be a good transition device. The C30 is just one example. I decided to get a touchscreen version since most people are used to those, but you can get the good old Blackberry with the QWERTY keyboard, at least a physical one. This one has a QWERTY, but it has it virtual. Now let's talk a little bit about the pros of the device. Now the device runs an operating system that is going to be completely discontinued in 2022. That doesn't mean that the basic functions will not work, but some of them will stop working as of 2022, so you may need to get some replacements. But essentially you have the hub, which is the main attraction for the Blackberry operating system. Here you will have your emails, your phone calls, your text messages, if you decide to set them up. If you decide to set up any online services, you will just get phone calls and texts in here. It's a clever way of managing your notifications, and you're able to send text messages, make phone calls, do everything just from one location. That is the first appeal of Blackberry 10 back in the day when it first started, and it has developed ever since. Now, the operating system is a little bit buggier than it used to be when, we first got to know this operating system back in like 2012, 2013. It used to be a little bit more polished, but now since the development has stopped, it's probably a little bit more buggy than before. So essentially the basics work. It has a browser, phone calls, text, and in it has all the features. You can add multiple things for your contacts, caller ID, three-way calling, you have text messages, you have MMS, group messages, media. You receive everything just as a regular smartphone would. The appeal is that you don't have a lot of the apps available here. It does have 2 app stores, but only one of them works. The Blackberry World App Store has now been working since, I believe, the beginning of 2021 or the end of 2020. And the Amazon App Store is just not there. It doesn't have a lot of apps that are useful. It's just filled with games and distracting stuff. So if you want to get it for digital minimalism, you may not want to install anything in here. You can sideload APK, so Android APKs, I believe up to version 4.4 or version 5. So you may need to go a couple of versions before. I believe there are a couple of websites that do have these APKs for this specific operating system, as there are die-hard Blackberry fans that have kept the faith. The device works well on Verizon, T-Mobile, and AT&T. I was able to test them with all of them, and I did not have any issues with coverage. It has 4G LTE, and again, it will survive the 3G shutdown in 2022. So the device has a lot of good things for it, but it has a couple of drawbacks. Number one, support is going to be difficult after 2022. So if you want to get it in 2021, I think it's still a good option because you're still supported with security updates and things of that nature. But after that, it's going to be a little bit of a spotty place. It does have some of the basic things like a calendar, calls, text, things of that nature. But again, the browser doesn't work very well, so if you want to get a couple of extra functionalities, you may not be able to do it. Maps is another app that was having a little bit of difficulties. It still works, kind of, sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't. I ran into a couple of problems here and there with the Maps application with a couple of the apps, but again, I think it's because the development has been discontinued. Again, if you're using this device just for the mere basics, calls, text, notes, calendar, and just reminders here and there, I think it's an excellent device. Otherwise, it's a little bit difficult to recommend with other platforms out there. You have just regular feature phones that are on the rise. You have the upcoming phones like Mudita. You also have other alternative operating systems like Ubuntu or Selfish OS that have active development and that also have better compatibility and support. The only drawback here in the United States is that none of those devices, neither Ubuntu or Selfish, and most of the feature phones don't work with all the carriers. So if you're on AT&T or T-Mobile, you are in luck. These other operating systems and different alternatives do work. But outside of that, Verizon, if you're in Verizon or any other CDMA carrier, you will have a tough look. Again, I do like Blackberry OS. It's a very nice, very polished, for what it is, I guess, operating system, gesture-based. It's very intuitive once you get the hang of it. And honestly, I really like it. I would recommend that you try it out or see a couple of extra reviews. But I think Blackberry 10 in 2021 is still possible. But personally, I wouldn't recommend it. Look out for Ubuntu Touch, look out for Selfish OS or other operating systems that are actually having a positive and community engaged that is developing or actively developing these operating systems. So Blackberry in 2021 is still a possibility. However, I would recommend that you look at other communities that are looking and that are doing better in the active development of their operating systems. Again, Selfish OS, Ubuntu Touch, there's a bunch of other Linux distributions. I cannot showcase them all in my channel, but I may do my best from here and time to time. Again, you can sideload APKs for the Blackberry OS, and I think that's a notable feature. You can get WhatsApp and Spotify and a couple of other things to work. But besides that, I think it's a good operating system for digital minimalist. I think it does the basics very well. The keyboard is a joy to use. I forgot how much I enjoyed this specific keyboard, and the suggestions are very practical. So you may want to give it a try for one last year. This device cost me about $75, so it's not super expensive here in the United States. And you may be able to find it cheaper used, or if you get them brand new in box, you are spending about $100 just to try it out. And again, they're still compatible with most networks. So it's a good recommendation for digital minimalists, just not the best recommendation. Look out for the other operating systems. I have videos on them, but let me know if you have any questions or any comments on this matter, and if you have any questions about any other devices. Thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one.